This video is about graphing piecewise functions. We're going to take our piecewise function f of x that has three different pieces to our function. We've got the graph y equals x squared. We've got the graph y equals square root of x. And we've got the graph y equals x over 2, which is really the same as 1/2 x, if you want to think of that as a linear equation. So we need to kind of have an idea of what the shape of these graphs look like. So y equals x squared is going to look like a parabola, because it is a parabola. Y equals square root of x is going to look something like this. It's kind of like half of a sideways parabola. And y equals 1/2 x is going to be a line through the origin with a slope of 1/2. Now this information is all important to know because it helps us when we're putting together our table for each of these. We need to have an idea of which piece of these graphs we're dealing with. So I'm going to start out by dealing with y equals x squared. And we need to think about our endpoints where we're graphing this. If we look up here, we see that we're graphing this for when x is less than or equal to 0. So 0 is definitely going to be an endpoint. It's going to be a closed circle endpoint because of this, this line right underneath the less than or equal to sign. So I know when I plug in 0, I'm going to see 0 squared is 0. So I'm going to plot the point 0, 0 right there. Because this is saying that we're graphing this for x is less than or equal to 0, we need to pick another endpoint somewhere in this part of the interval. I'm going to plug in a number that I can easily evaluate for x squared. Let's say -2. So I plug in -2. -2 squared is +4. So I'll put -2, +4 is right there. And we've got the general shape of the graph. It's going to be this parabola that stops right here. I'm going to put an arrow on both ends. I'm going to put the arrow here to show that we're going for all numbers less than 0. And we've graphed the first piece. I'm going to change colors. We'll write in blue now. And I'm going to graph y equals the square root of x on the interval. And now it's clearly defined for us, the interval from 0 to 4. And you'll notice that both of these are going to be open circle intervals. So I'm going to put a little open circle here so I know that my endpoints are open circle. Square root of 0 is 0. Square root of 4 is 2. So I've got the point 0, 0, which is an open circle. I've got the point 4, 2, which is an open circle. The shape of the graph is slightly curved like that to reflect this half parabola shape. And you might be a little bit confused right now, right here, because it seems like this open blue circle is right on top of this closed red circle. In that case, we're going to say that the closed red circle kind of takes priority there. So I can fill that in red. It really doesn't matter. We don't need to be that nitpicky about what color we're filling it in. The point is that that's filled in right there. And then now we're going to go and we're going to say, okay, I'll change to black. We're going to graph y equals, let's say, 1/2 x, or x over 2, for x bigger than 4. So let's plug in 4, and we'll get another value. Let's plug in 10. I'm plugging in 10 because 10 is on this part of the interval. When we see that we have a closed circle right here, and we've got an arrow over here, actually. So let's see, plug in 4, half of 4 is 2, half of 10 is 5, so the point 4, 2, 10, 5. I'm going to connect these with a nice straight line, and we have our piecewise function.